We're here on Malvern Avenue in front of the police department with newly appointed Chief Jason Stacey, who I remember from a few years back when both of us served as public information officers.
It's been a few years ago, hadn't it, Terry?
Yes,
we
welcome
were
to
just
today's
talking about
program,
that. 14, 15.
it's been quite a journey since then for you, hasn't it?
It has been very fortunate and been very blessed in so many different ways.
Well, congratulations on your recent appointment.
Thank you so much.
Today we are going to be talking about the changes that you've recently implemented as well as changes that are coming forward. But what we want to emphasize front and center, of course, is crime reduction. Is that your top goal?
That is my top goal. That is our department's top goal. That should be our city's top goal. And right now I am in the developing stages of developing a Hot Springs crime reduction strategy. It is a multifaceted approach that is going to address the root causes of crime. We are going to address, namely, the most two important topics: code enforcement as well as drug activity. We know without a doubt that there is a direct correlation between drug activity and thefts that occur within any community, and we're going to send a very clear, direct message to individuals who want to sell drugs in our community to get out of here. Or there's going to be consequences. As well, we also want to address code enforcement. I subscribe, like Mayor Giuliani in New York, of broken windows. That whenever you have a house in a neighborhood that may be starting to fall apart, if there's some outward appearance issues, that can also allow crime to come in that neighborhood. And we're really going to address these ordinance issues in these neighborhoods. We're going to clean up our neighborhoods, and there's so many different ways that we're really going to improve the makeup of our neighborhoods in our city, and we are so excited about that.
So that sounds like a multi-departmental approach going forward.
It is. It's going to involve technology. It's going to involve some personnel changes. It's going to be a mental mindset change as far as being reactive to crime versus proactive. So we're very optimistic on how we're going to do that as well.
So you've talked about two overall goals to address the reduction of crime in our community. What are some specific strategies that you're planning to work on going forward?
One of the strategies, obviously, in regards to drug, we're going to create our own Hot Springs drug unit that is tasked with reducing and eliminating drugs right here in Hot Springs. So that is going to be a very specific strategy in reducing crime. Also with code enforcement personnel, I'll be working with Kathy Selman, and instead of being reactive, we're going to be proactive, and we want code enforcement to go out and actually address these issues on a daily basis, not wait for a neighbor to call in to say, hey, my neighbor's residence is in disrepair, grass is 12 inches high, it's falling down around us. We're actually going to be proactive and go out there. Another specific strategy is CompStat. I'm a huge believer in technology that's going to aid law enforcement. It's also called intelligence-led policing. So as on a daily basis, as we respond to crimes, this software is going to enable us to address resources and assets to eliminate that in certain areas of the city. So we're not going to have to wait 3 months, 6 months to determine, in fact, yeah, we have a problem in this area. Within a 24, 48-hour window, we'll know what kind of crime is occurring, the time it's occurring, how it's occurring, and we're going to be able to more expeditiously address it.
So that will allow you to have a more proactive approach to attacking crime in the areas that you see are problem spots for Hot Springs?
Absolutely. And accountability being the most important concept, to make this work. It's accountability, and I've stressed this, there's a lot of accountability on myself. Well, that accountability falls all the way down to the newest officer. So, we're all responsible. Just not the department, obviously. We also need the community's help in reducing crime and that's also going to be a specific strategy that we focus on, is crime prevention programs. You know, I want to see, my goal is to triple and quadruple the number of neighborhood watches that we have in our city, along with developing very proactive, progressive crime prevention programs.
That's exciting to hear. Now, I know another focus of yours is both the adult police academy as well as the teen police academy, which only recently started. What are your plans going forward?
You know, this is, we're so excited about that. You know, last year was our first pilot program of the Teen Academy. You know, saw the benefits of that program success almost instantaneously. So we have met with the Sheriff's Department. I've talked with Sheriff McCormick, and we're going to actually team up together from this point forward, and both agencies are going to work together to do the Citizens Police Academy for adults as well as the Teen Academy. And we're actually going to host 2 teen police academies this summer.
So by the time people watch this program, one of them could already be underway, and that's going to be another proactive step in your overall plan?
Absolutely. You know, we want to, you know, the youth of this community is important because obviously they're going to be the citizens of tomorrow. And we want to develop that relationship and that rapport with the students at an early age. You know, the more collaborative effort that we have as a law enforcement agency in this community, the better off we are as a community. And, you know, one important concept that I want people to understand is that law enforcement is part of this community, and this community is part of law enforcement. I know it sounds cliche, but we are one entity, and we have to work together.
Speaking of younger people, how do you view the training of younger officers?
You know, in our profession, it seems like a lot of agencies have waited a little too late to start teaching the leadership and the management function to officers. You know, and I say that most agencies wait, and also we have as well, wait until they're actually a supervisor. So that includes the rank of sergeant or lieutenant before we start sending them off to leadership schools. I'm one who's very progressive. I don't want to wait until they actually get their 3rd stripe and become a supervisor. I think that the leadership principles should be taught a whole lot earlier. That, you know, involves with our young officers, our officer first class, and our corporals. We want to instill them the right leadership qualities at that younger age, because when they do assume leadership positions within our organization, then they already have a heads up. They already understand the importance of that, and they are developing their own leadership style. So within the next 2 to 3 months, we will begin a mandatory professional development program for these young officers.
Very good. Another thing that we want to touch on quickly is the procedural justice training that you implemented as interim chief, and how that affects the overall customer service that the department provides. Do you want to touch on that?
Absolutely. As far as I know, you know, the Hot Springs Police Department is still possibly the only agency in the state to have this mandatory training for all employees. And, you know, it's so focused on customer service and the importance of communication. And we've really seen the benefits of this program since we hosted it, I believe it was a couple of months ago. The number of complaints have been reduced as far as on officers, and it allows officers to really you know, change their way of thinking. You know, it teaches the importance of empathizing, you know, with the individual they're talking to, and it doesn't matter if it's a suspect, you know, a witness, or a victim. You know, that officer steps outside his role as a police officer and really understands, you know, the emotions and the feelings that that person is having.
Yes, and if they're interacting with a police officer, likely emotions are high and they're already under stress.
Absolutely. You know, and I know it's really when you really look at this concept, you think, well, you know, this is just a something that we should have already been doing in a lot of different ways. You know, we take it for granted, but, you know, it's always a good idea to really stress the importance of how to deal with people.
Very good. As we wrap up this interview, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
I just want to say that, I'm very humbled, to be selected as the chief of Hot Springs. And I also understand that, yes, I am the chief of this department, but as we move forward as a police department, our department is going to move forward hand in hand with our community. It's just not one person. It's the entire community making a difference, and I'm very optimistic. This is an exciting time. We just had 5 internal promotions last week, and we've got such a great group of personnel that are very passionate about serving the citizens of Hot Springs. So this is an exciting time for the entire city.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us today and just giving us just the tip of the iceberg of what's going on with the police department. There are a lot of exciting, positive, and thoughtful changes ahead.
Thank you, Terry.
We appreciate your joining us today, and next week we'll bring you more city news.